Part 2. The Night God Stayed. Elias did not sleep that night. The hospital room was quiet in the way only. Places of waiting are machines, humming softly, curtains barely moving, time stretched thin and unfamiliar. His mother lay still, her breath shallow but steady, her hand warm in his. He sat there unmoving, afraid that if he shifted even slightly, something irreversible would happen. He didn't pray. Not the way he used to. No desperate promises, no bargains, no carefully chosen words. He simply sat, and for the first time he noticed something strange. The fear was still there. The grief was still there. The future was still terrifyingly uncertain. But the panic was gone. It felt as if someone had taken the sharp edges of the night and dulled them, just enough for him to breathe. At some point past midnight, his mother stirred. Her eyes opened slowly, unfocused at first, then finding him. "You look tired," she whispered. He smiled weakly. "You've always said I worry too much." She squeezed his hand, barely, but enough. "I had a dream," she said. "Someone was sitting beside you." Elias froze. "What do you mean?" She closed her eyes again as if replaying it. I couldn't see his face clearly, but I knew he wasn't a nurse. He wasn't afraid. Elias felt his chest tighten. He wasn't trying to fix anything, she continued softly. He was just there. Silence filled the room. Elias swallowed hard. Did he say anything? His mother smiled faintly. "No," she said, "but I felt safe." The next morning she slipped away quietly, like someone leaving a room without wanting to wake anyone. There was no dramatic moment. No sudden rush of people, just a stillness that felt final. Elias pressed his forehead against her hand and cried, not loudly, not uncontrollably, but with the kind of grief that knows it cannot be undone. And yet even then he was not alone. The days that followed blurred together. Paperwork, condolences, voices saying, "She's in a better place," without knowing how hollow that sounded. Elias moved through it all like a man underwater. But every night, when the world finally grew quiet, he felt it again. That presence, not strong enough to erase the pain, but steady enough to hold it. A week later, he returned to the old train station. The steps were empty. He sat where he had sat before, staring at the tracks disappearing into the distance. "I don't know how to live without her," he said out loud. The city answered with silence. Then quietly, a memory surfaced, not a voice, not words, but a truth that settled deep inside him. You don't live without love. You live carrying it. Elias closed his eyes. For the first time since the funeral, he didn't feel broken. He felt changed. Months passed. He started volunteering at the hospital, not as a hero, not as someone with answers, but as someone who knew how to sit in silence without running from it. He learned that some people didn't want hope. They wanted company, and he gave that freely. Sometimes, when someone thanked him, he felt almost embarrassed. "I didn't do anything," he'd say. And somewhere deep inside, a quiet truth would respond. Exactly. One evening, as the sun dipped low and the station lights flickered on, a young man sat down beside him on the steps. "I don't know why I'm here," the stranger said. "Everything hurts." Elias looked at him, not with pity, not with urgency, just with understanding. "Sit," he said. And together they waited. Quiet continuation. God did not fix the ending. He transformed the middle. And sometimes that is how faith survives, not by changing the story, but by teaching us how to stay inside it with love.